Serengeti National Park. Tanzania location. Serengeti National Park is located in northern Tanzania, East Africa, within the larger Serengeti ecosystem. It covers an area of about 14,750 square kilometers, 5,700 square miles, making it one of the largest protected areas in Africa. The park stretches from the Ngorongoro Conservation Area in the south to the Kenya border in the north, where it seamlessly connects to the Masai Mara National Reserve. To the west, it reaches near Lake Victoria, and to the east, it borders the Great Rift Valley. The central hub of the park is Serengeti Valley, famous for its abundant wildlife and year-round game viewing. Importance: biodiversity, hotspot, home to more than 70 species of large mammals and 500 bird species. The Serengeti is one of the richest ecosystems in the world. The Great Migration, globally renowned for the annual migration of over 1.5 million wildebeest and hundreds of thousands of zebras and gazelles, making it one of the greatest spectacles of wildlife movement on Earth. Lion Stronghold hosts the largest population of lions in Africa, about 3,000, along with other big cats like cheetahs and leopards. Cultural significance: ancestral homeland of the Maasai people, who have coexisted with wildlife for centuries. Scientific importance: archaeological sites like Olduvai Gorge near the park reveal some of the earliest human ancestors. Global recognition: declared a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1981 and one of the 7 natural wonders of Africa. Economic value: a major driver of Tanzania's tourism industry, attracting hundreds of thousands of visitors annually and contributing significantly to the national economy. Historical background of Serengeti National Park. Ancient human presence: the Serengeti region is one of the world's oldest continuously inhabited areas. Fossil discoveries at Olduvai Gorge, located on the park's southeastern border, show evidence of early human ancestors such as Homo habilis and Homo erectus who lived here over 2 million years ago. This makes the Serengeti not just a wildlife haven, but also a cradle of humanity. Indigenous people: the land was long inhabited by pastoralist groups, most notably the Maasai people, who arrived in the Serengeti about 200 years ago. They lived as semi-nomadic herders, coexisting with wildlife while maintaining cultural traditions tied to cattle and the land. The word Serengeti comes from the Maasai language Seringet, meaning endless plains. Colonial era and hunting: in the late 19th and early 20th centuries, German and later British colonial settlers arrived. Trophy hunting by Europeans became common, leading to severe declines in animal populations, particularly lions, elephants, and rhinos. Establishment of the park: alarmed by the decline in wildlife, conservationists pushed for protection. In 1921, the first partial game reserve was created, and by 1951, Serengeti National Park was officially established, making it one of Africa's earliest and largest protected reserves. UNESCO World Heritage Site. In 1981, the park was recognized as a UNESCO World Heritage Site due to its unmatched ecological importance and the spectacle of the Great Migration. Modern era. Today, Serengeti is not only a symbol of African wilderness, but also a hub for ecological research, especially on lions, cheetahs, and migratory behavior. It has inspired global conservation movements and remains a centerpiece of Tanzania's identity and tourism industry. Geography and landscape of Serengeti National Park. Total area: the Serengeti National Park covers about 14,750 square kilometers, 5,700 square miles, but it is part of the much larger Serengeti ecosystem, which spans nearly 30,000 square kilometers across Tanzania and into Kenya. Landscape zones. The park features a variety of landscapes, each supporting different wildlife populations. Southern Serengeti, plains vast, short grass, savannas stretching endlessly, rich grazing grounds, especially during the wildebeest calving season. Opening parenthesis, December-March, closing parenthesis. Large predators like lions and cheetahs thrive here. Central Serengeti, Serenera Valley, known as the heart of the park, mix of grasslands, acacia trees, and rocky outcrops, called KOPJES. Wildlife is abundant year-round, making it the most popular area for safari visitors. Western corridor, characterized by dense woodlands, riverine forests, and the Grumeti River, famous for the dramatic Grumeti River crossings during the Great Migration, where giant crocodiles prey on wildebeest and zebras. Northern Serengeti rolling hills, savannas, and scattered woodlands, less crowded with tourists, but spectacular during July-October, when animals cross the Mara River into Kenya's Masai Mara. Rivers and water systems. Key rivers include the Grumeti and Mara rivers, lifelines for wildlife, especially during the dry season. Seasonal streams and pools form across the plains, sustaining migratory herds. Climate: tropical savanna climate, with distinct wet and dry seasons. Wet season, November-May, lush green vegetation. Birthing season, dry season, June-October. Best wildlife viewing as animals gather around water sources. Temperatures are generally mild, ranging between 15 degrees Celsius, 59 degrees Fahrenheit at night, to Y-30 degrees Celsius, Y-86 degrees Fahrenheit. During the day, unique landforms, kopjes, isolated granite rock outcrops that rise above the plains, often serving as lion resting spots and observation points. Endless plains, the defining feature of Serengeti, inspiring its Maasai names, the land that runs on forever. Flora and fauna of Serengeti National Park. The Serengeti is often described as nature's ultimate sanctuary, with extraordinary biodiversity that makes it one of the richest ecosystems on Earth. Flora, plant life, grasslands, savanna plains, dominant in the south and central Serengeti, short grass and tall grass. Savannas provide crucial grazing grounds for wildebeest, zebras, and gazelles. Woodlands and acacia, tree-scattered umbrella acacia trees. The plains, iconic in African landscapes. In the western and northern Serengeti, woodlands are denser, offering shade and habitats for giraffes, elephants, and bird life. Riverine forests found along rivers, such as the Mara and Grumeti, home to hippos, crocodiles, and numerous bird species. KOPJES rock outcrops support unique vegetation like fig trees, mosses, and small shrubs. Microecosystems that shelter insects, reptiles, and predators like lions. Fauna. Wildlife herbivores, wildebeest over 1.5 million. The heart of the Great Migration, zebras around 250,000, often migrating alongside wildebeest, gazelles, Thompsons, and Grant's gazelles, numbering in the hundreds of thousands. Elephants large. Herds roam mainly in the northern and western regions. Buffalo, over 60,000 individuals. Giraffes, hippos, eland, impalas, and many antelope species. Carnivores and predators. Lions, about 3,000. The largest concentration of lions in Africa. Cheetahs thrive in open plains, hunting gazelles, leopards. More elusive, often seen in trees of the Serengeti region. Hyenas, large clans, roam the plains, powerful hunters and scavengers. African wild dogs, rare but present in small packs. Crocodiles, especially in the Grumeti and Mara rivers, notorious during migration crossings. Birdlife, over 500 bird species, including ostriches, secretary birds, and kori bustards, largest flying bird. Raptors, like martial eagles, vultures, and hawks. Waterbirds such as flamingos and pelicans in nearby lakes. Ecological importance. The Serengeti's predator-prey balance is a model for ecosystem health. Seasonal rains and grazing. Migrations prevent overgrowth of vegetation, maintaining open savannah. The Great Migration redistributes nutrients through animal droppings, fertilizing the soil and sustaining plant life. The Great Migration is the Serengeti's most iconic phenomenon and one of the greatest natural spectacles on Earth. It is a massive annual movement of herbivores across the Serengeti ecosystem, driven by rainfall patterns and the search for fresh grazing land. Scale of the migration: around 1.5 to 2 million wildebeest, over 250,000 zebras, nearly 500,000 gazelles, plus smaller numbers of eland and impala. In total, more than 2 million animals participate in this circular migration cycle covering nearly 1,800 miles, 2,900 kilometers. Every year, migration cycle: December, March, southern Serengeti and Ngoro area. Wildebeest gather on the shortgrass plains of southern Serengeti. Calving season occurs: around 500,000 calves are born within just a few weeks. Predators like lions, cheetahs, and hyenas take advantage of the abundance of vulnerable young. April, June, central and western Serengeti rains end, and herds begin moving northwest. They reach the western corridor along the Grumeti River. This stage is marked by dramatic river crossings, where giant Nile crocodiles ambush the herds. July, September, northern Serengeti and Masai Mara herds push further north towards the Mara River. The Mara River crossing is the most famous and dangerous event. Animals plunge into crocodile-filled waters, with many drowning or being eaten. Survivors reach the Masai Mara in Kenya, where pastures are rich. October, November, return south as the rains return in Tanzania. The herds leave Kenya and move back south. The cycle begins again in the southern Serengeti. Ecological and global importance. Keeps the ecosystem in balance by preventing overgrazing in one area. Provides food for predators and scavengers across the Serengeti. Attracts hundreds of thousands of tourists annually, making it a major economic and conservation driver. Recognized as one of the 7 natural wonders of Africa. Cultural and symbolic significance of Serengeti National Park. The Serengeti is not only a natural wonder, but also a cultural and symbolic treasure, deeply tied to human history, indigenous traditions, and global identity. For indigenous people, the Maasai, the word Serengeti comes from the Maasai language, Seringet, meaning the land that goes on forever. The Maasai people, who have lived in the region for centuries, view the Serengeti as part of their ancestral homeland. Their lifestyle herding cattle, goats, and sheep reflects a deep spiritual connection to the land and its wildlife. To the Maasai, cattle are not just food, but a symbol of wealth, status, and life itself, tying human survival to the same grasslands that sustain wildebeest and zebras. Global symbol of wilderness, the Serengeti has become an icon of Africa's wild beauty, often featured in documentaries, films, and literature. Popular culture. As the Lion King has drawn inspiration from the Serengeti's landscapes and wildlife, it represents the idea of untamed wilderness, a place where the cycles of life and death play out on an epic scale. Scientific and educational. Serengeti has served as a living laboratory for decades of research. Landmark studies on lion behavior, predator-prey relationships, and migration patterns have shaped global understanding of ecology. The park symbolizes the importance of conservation, showing how protecting one ecosystem can safeguard countless species. Spiritual and universal meaning for many visitors. The Serengeti embodies a return to origins, a reminder of early humanity's cradle nearby at Olduvai Gorge. Its endless plains and massive herds are often described as a window into the past, showing what the world looked like before industrialization. Globally, it stands as a symbol of harmony between humans, animals, and nature, urging the world to protect vanishing wild places. Tourism and visitor information. Serengeti National Park tourism is at the heart of Serengeti's global identity. Every year, hundreds of thousands of visitors travel to Tanzania to witness its landscapes, wildlife, and the world-famous Great Migration. Main attractions. Game drives. Traditional safari drives allow visitors to explore different parts of the park and spot the big five: lion, leopard, elephant, buffalo, rhino. The Great Migration, the highlight of Serengeti tourism, attracting visitors from across the globe. Hot air balloon safaris, offering breathtaking aerial views of the plains at sunrise. Walking safaris, guided treks, led by park rangers for a more intimate wilderness experience. Birdwatching, with over 500 bird species. The Serengeti is a paradise for bird enthusiasts. Access and transportation by road, about 6 to 8 hours drive from a route. Tanzania's safari hub. By air, several small airstrips, Seroneda, Kogatende, Lobo, etc., connect the park with Arusha, Dar es Salaam, and Zanzibar. Safari circuits. Serengeti is part of Tanzania's Northern Safari Circuit, which includes Ngorongoro, Crater, Lake, Manyara, and Tarangire. Best time to visit: December, March. Calving season in the southern plains: April, June. Herds move west. River crossings at GRUMETI. July, September. Northern Serengeti, dramatic Mara River crossings. October. November. Herds move back south. Excellent wildlife viewing. Wildlife is present year-round, but the migration timetable strongly influences visitor numbers. Accommodation options: luxury lodges, high-end safari lodges with premium services and spectacular views. Tented camps, both luxury and mid-range, offering immersive under-the-stars experiences. Public campsites, budget-friendly options for adventurous travelers. Mobile camps, seasonal camps that move along with the migration. Tourism impact. Tourism is a major source of revenue for Tanzania, supporting conservation and local communities. Strict rules are in place to minimize disturbance to wildlife, but over-tourism in peak seasons remains a challenge. Modern challenges and preservation. Serengeti National Park. While the Serengeti is one of the most successful conservation areas in the world, it faces a range of modern challenges that threaten its delicate ecosystem. At the same time, extensive preservation efforts are underway to ensure its survival for future generations. Key challenges: poaching and illegal wildlife. Elephants and rhinos are primary targets for ivory and horn, Although anti-poaching patrols have reduced cases, organized crime still poses a threat. Human-wildlife conflict, growing human settlements and farming along park boundaries increase competition for land. Predators sometimes kill livestock, leading to retaliation against lions, hyenas, and leopards. Climate change. Changing rainfall patterns threaten the migration cycle. Droughts can reduce water availability in rivers like the Mara and Grumeti, affecting both wildlife and people. Over-tourist peak migration seasons bring large crowds, causing vehicle congestion and stressing animals. Unregulated tourism in some areas risks damaging fragile ecosystems. Infrastructure development proposals for roads and settlements across migration routes could disrupt animal movements. Expansion of agriculture near the park puts pressure on grazing lands. Preservation and conservation efforts. Protected status. Serengeti is a UNESCO World Heritage Site 1981 and part of a transboundary conservation system with Kenya's Masai Mara anti-poaching patrols. Rangers and modern surveillance technology help monitor and protect animals. Research and monitoring. Long-term projects study lions, cheetahs, elephants, and migration patterns. Community engagement. Local communities, especially the Maasai, are involved in ecotourism and benefit from revenue-sharing programs. Tourism management. Park authorities regulate the number of vehicles, establish designated viewing zones, and encourage sustainable practices. Global support. NGOs and international conservation organizations fund protection efforts. The future of Serengeti. The Serengeti is a symbol of resilience, but its survival depends on balancing human needs with nature's cycles. Protecting the Great Migration, preserving predator populations, and supporting local communities are essential to ensure that the Serengeti remains the land that goes on forever. Summary table. Serengeti National Park. Feature. Details. Location. Northern Tanzania, East Africa, part of the Serengeti ecosystem. Bordering Kenya's Masai Mara area, 14,750 square kilometers, 5,700 square miles. Established 1951 as a national park, UNESCO status, World Heritage Site. 1,981 landscape zones, Southern Plains, Central Serengeti, Serenera, Western Corridor, Northern Serengeti. Key rivers, Grumeti River, Mara River. Climate. Tropical savanna, wet season, Nov-May. Dry season, Janoct, flora grasslands, acacia woodlands, riverine forests. Coppice fauna, 70 large mammal species, 500 bird species. Herbivores. Wildebeest, 1.5. Ememas. Zebras 2.5, OK+, gazelles, giraffes, elephants. Buffalo. Predators, lions, 3,000+, cheetahs, leopards, hyenas, wild dogs, crocodiles. Birdlife. Ostriches, secretary birds, vultures, eagles, Kori birds. Flamingos, famous for the Great Migration to M+ animals moving across Serengeti and Masai Mara. Best visit time. Dekmar calving season. Jewel Sape, Mara River crossings, tourism activities, game drives, hot air balloon safaris, walking safaris. Birdwatching access by road 6 to 8 hours from Arusha, or by air. Several airstrips, accommodation. Luxury lodges, tented camps, mobile camps, public campsites. Major challenges: poaching, human-wildlife conflict, climate change, over-tourist maximization efforts, anti-poaching patrols, ecotourism, community programs, research projects, cultural importance. Homeland of the Name Serengeti means endless plains. The Serengeti is more than just a national park. It is a living masterpiece of nature, a timeless wilderness where the eternal rhythms of life play out across its endless plains. For millions of years, this land has nurtured wildlife, sustained early humans, and inspired awe with its breathtaking beauty. Today, it remains one of the last great natural theaters on Earth, where the Great Migration unfolds as a symbol of survival, resilience, and the delicate balance of ecosystems. Its significance goes beyond Tanzania's borders. The Serengeti is a heritage of humanity, a reminder of our shared past at Olduvai Gorge and our collective responsibility to protect the natural world. For the Maasai, it is a sacred homeland. For scientists, it is a vital research ground. For travelers, it is the ultimate safari dream. And for conservationists, it is a symbol of hope. Yet, the Serengeti is not immune to modern challenges. Poaching, climate change, and human expansion threaten its fragile balance. Preserving this extraordinary wilderness requires global cooperation, responsible tourism, and sustainable practices that protect both wildlife and local communities. Standing on the Serengeti's vast plains, watching a golden sunset behind acacia silhouettes, one feels the deep truth behind its name. Serengeti, the land that goes on forever. It is a place where nature speaks in its purest form, where the drama of life is eternal, and where humanity is reminded of its place within the great web of life. To protect the Serengeti is to safeguard one of Earth's last great wonders. For ourselves, for future generations, and for the countless wild beings who call it home.